We're students from UCL.
University College London.
UCL.
And approximately a month ago, we had the chance to contribute to something big.
Cisco unveiled transformative agentic AI.
JARVIS, Cisco's internal platform engineer.
Inspired by Iron Man's assistant,
JARVIS.
it's a network of open source AI agents, with JARVIS being the super agent, communicating with a bunch of independent sub-agents.
So our role was to make JARVIS more robust by adding new agents and fixing some of the current issues.
And it wasn't easy. Things broke, systems failed, code wasn't working on Windows and much more.
So by the end, we just add new agents. We built an MCP generator that creates MCP server from scratch and added the latest technologies to JARVIS and made it smarter than before. Hi, I'm Hamish and I was working on the Slack agent along with Kanav and Aditya, where my role was to add prompt engineering and line graph memory functionalities to the agent.
I'm Kanav, and I worked on the Slack and GitHub agent.
And I'm Omar. And for the past 4 weeks, I've been working on the Atlassian and PagerDuty agents.
And I'm Rehan, and for the last 4 weeks, I've been working on Agent Backstage, Agent PagerDuty, and building an open API MCP server generator.
I'm Aditya, and I specifically worked on the Slack agent as well as the agent template.
So JARVIS is Cisco's internal platform engineer. It's essentially a multi-AI agent framework.
And it also uses communication protocols to communicate between the super agents and the independent sub-agents.
For example, Backstage, maybe PagerDuty, maybe AWS, or maybe it's Slack.
It has many agents which can handle a lot of things like Jira, Slack, Kubernetes to help developers, set up their code, pull issues, and basically make everything much more efficient and much more faster.
For example, it has a GitHub agent where instead of you pulling the repository by yourself, you just tell JARVIS that, oh, pull this repository for me, and it does it for you.
Okay, so the team in general built React agents, specifically the PagerDuty, Jira, GitHub, Slack, Atlassian agents, and our main role was to open source these agents and release them to the public. Why did we do that? So that developers from different organizations can use these agents and improve their productivity, reduce the workload, and eventually reduce the opportunity cost.
I think the hardest part was probably trying to understand all the templates and also go through breaking changes.
The hardest part for me was setting everything up. So we had this agent template, which was a template we had to follow to open source all the agents, and it was designed towards Unix systems.
So for me, I struggled quite a lot with getting a lot of these agent templates working on my laptop. I used many different OSs. I used Mac OS, Windows, Linux, and I ran into a lot of troubles in my work.
Firstly, the hardest part was the ACP, A2A, MCP protocols. They're all relatively new. So we first had to learn a lot about these protocols because we were coding them from scratch.
For me personally, I think it was getting caught up to speed with all these new technologies. Since we've been working with brand new frameworks that are just being released and are constantly updating, we first needed to make sure that we became familiar with these technologies in order to be able to implement them.
This is the demo of our Slack agent, one of the React-based agents we've built. What you're seeing here is a server-side A2A command interface, and alongside is a client chat interface. The agent uses A2A protocol to communicate with our custom-built MCP server, allowing it to interact with application tools. It can send messages, list channels, summarize conversations, and more. Since all the agents are standardized, they follow a consistent structure and operate in a similar way.
So things like the MCP or Google's A2A or even LangGraph's framework are all new and upcoming things, and it was really, I'd say, very fantastic working with these new technologies and getting a head start. I was particularly proud of that Atlassian agent because it was the one agent that I kind of worked alone on. And I think it was the agent with the most tools. So it really took a while for me to kind of develop it and make sure all the tools work smoothly.
I'm very proud of that. We managed to integrate A2A, which is quite new by Google, into the Slack agent, and it's working perfectly fine.
This project I learned quite a lot. I was sort of jumping into the deep end with this project, especially working with AI agents. I mean, the LangGraph React agent, I learned a lot with that. MCP servers, communication protocols between agents, because primarily, I spent a lot of time working on getting the templates to not only work on different OSs, but also transforming each template so that they can work with all these new emerging technologies.
So one of my proudest achievements during this project has been building the OpenAPI MCP server generator. And what this generator effectively does is that you take the OpenAPI spec from any website. So for example, whether it's PagerDuty docs or Backstage docs, take the API spec and dump it into your generator. It builds you an MCP server from the scratch, from the get-go. And the whole point of it is basically to reduce development time.